Hey everybody, I'm ZehOverseer.
And I'm Foggy Memory J.
And welcome to a Let's Play that my friend Jesse here is letting me host on his channel. Thank you very much, Jesse. You are a very kind man.
No trouble at all.
And I'm happy to be doing this because this is a Let's Play of Spyro Reignited Trilogy, a remake of the original Spyro the Dragon games on PS1, my favorite video game series of all time. This is going to be a 100% LP, which means I will be completing the levels 100% as I go along. I will be doing all three of the games, Spyro 1, Spyro the Dragon, Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage, and Spyro 3, Year of the Dragon. But obviously, since this is the beginning of the Let's Play, we start with the first game.
Okay, rolling.
It's been peaceful here in the Five Worlds, or is it...
I don't know. I know you said that Ryan is a big fan of Spyro. I don't know what your experience with the series is.
If I must admit, very little actually, aside from watching Ryan, or Nomad Rel, my roommate, playing the game, and from what I've seen from that, unfortunately, I don't know very much about this, so I'm kind of going into this completely blind myself, just looking at this. It's a new experience for me. Obviously, it's a familiar experience for you.
Yes, I've played the Reignited Trilogy and the originals more times than any other video game I've ever touched. And even after high school, after I dropped out of video games, I'm still not much of a gamer even today. I don't play that many video games. But Spyro has always... Spyro is basically my happy place. If I'm ever in a really bad mood, I can just play Spyro for a few hours and feel 10 times better. Also, this is me realizing, I still have big head mode on. I still have the cheat code on, so just gonna go to the pause menu, and now we can start.
I don't know why, I kind of laugh at big head mode.
Yeah, well, yeah, they brought back the cheat codes from the old PS1 game.
Thank you for releasing the
Which, you gotta appreciate a company that, when they remake a game, they actually remake everything about it.
To the next world.
What about Nasty Nork? I'm going after him.
Find dragons first. That's all I can tell you.
But anyway, as that dragon explained, the main goal of the original Spyro game is to collect dragons. We were talking over the cutscene, but the plot is basically there's this guy named Nasty Nork. He gets pissed off because somebody on TV called him ugly, so he froze all the dragons in crystal, and our job is to go around and free all the dragons. Also, you run around and collect gems and stuff by flaming these enemies. They drop gems, there's gems scattered all over the place. Those are basically your main two goals. It sounds super simple, and it's so simple that I was actually worried that I wouldn't have enough material to make an entire Let's Play about, but then I remember how much of a Spyro slut I am and realized, oh, I can talk about this game for hours if you let me.
And lo and behold, we're letting ya.
Yay! That's why I was super excited to do this Let's Play. In fact, this is, if some of you actually watched it, this isn't my first Spyro-related thing I've put on Jesse's channel. I also made a Spyro the Dragon crack vid about 2 years ago.
Me watching that was just actually so entertaining to watch.
I watched it again recently. It doesn't hold up great, but it was a lot of fun to make.
I mean, have you seen the stuff I've put out in the past 7 years?
I think some of the crack skits that I've sent you, individually, I think a lot of those hold up really well, but I think the Spyro crack, I think I just didn't have enough ideas.
Probably more ideas than I can think of anyone else trying to come up with, because, a crack video for, an animated show is one thing. I don't think I've seen too many that are based off a video game that I can think of.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you.
Hey, Spyro, press the jump button twice to glide. And don't be afraid.
Afraid? Of what?
Falling from high mountain peaks? Plummeting into prehistoric glaciers?
Oh, that.
So, yeah, I'm going to be... Obviously, there are a lot of differences between this game and the originals on PS1, and I'll be going over them as they show up. We'll find that a few of them aren't that great, but the vast majority of the changes that Toys for Bob added to the series are all excellent. The most important one of this first game being the dragons. In the original PS1 game, the dragons, all of them were basically just copy-pasted dragon models with different colors. But in this game, every single dragon is given his own outfit, design, voice, personality, everything, and it makes collecting the dragons a billion times more interesting, and pretty much changes the entire, like, experience of the game. It's a huge improvement.
Definitely makes it a lot more worth it just to hear them speak. Am I right?
Yeah, because you get excited to see what each dragon is going to look like. Also, the load times in this game are abysmal. This is the only time I'm going to be showing the load times in this game, just to give you an idea of how long they are. Every time after this, I'm going to just be cutting to me returning to the home world. And in the next part, and the parts after that, I'm just going to cut to me immediately entering the next level.
I'll definitely save on time for both yourself and everyone watching.
Yeah.
Also, it's going to be the same damn thing every single time with the load screen, pretty much, right?
Oh, yeah. Like, you saw me doing, like, you saw me, like, doing these flips and, like, doing flame breath as during the loading screen. I guess they added that to, like, make the load screen more interesting, so you're not just sitting there watching Spyro fly the whole time. But as much as I appreciate the offered Toys for Bob, it gets old super fast. But, did you see how slowly that goat was running? How you basically... This is the first level of the game, so obviously it's going to be easy, but these goats are so pathetic, you basically have to try to get hit. They got a huge downgrade from the original game. In the original game, they weren't hard, but they were still, you know, it was possible to get hit if you weren't paying attention. In this game, it's nearly impossible.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone describe an enemy as, like, you have to try to get hit.
Yeah.
When you free a dragon or step on one of their platforms, you're saving your progress. That could be useful if you run into trouble. Not that you ever run into trouble, Spyro.
I say this is the first level. These Spyro games don't have a first level. All the portals are scattered around the homeworld, and you get to choose which level you do first. But it's pretty like it gestures you towards doing these levels in a particular order, depending on where in the world they're placed. Like if levels are like placed near you when you first start the game, like the levels that are placed closer to you and the levels that are more far away, like it's obvious which worlds they want you to do in which order. So that's why this is considered the first level. And I will be playing these levels in the order in which it's like implied that you do them. Funny thing with this first level, it kind of gives you false expectations because this is probably one of the biggest levels in the entire game.
Huh.
I might be wrong on that, but this level is really big.
Watch the dragonfly, Spyro. His color indicates his power. When he eats butterflies, he stays strong. Like me.
Sure.
Also, that dragon was talking about Sparks the Dragonfly. You'll notice a little yellow dragonfly following Spyro around. That is Sparks. That is your health bar for this game. Whenever you get hit, Sparks changes color. It goes from yellow, which is full health, to blue, and then to green. And then if you get hit at green, you lose Sparks, and it's just Spyro himself. And if you get hit again, then you die. So you basically get 4 hits.
Spyro, my friend, how about a hint on gliding?
You bet.
For the longest glide, press the jump button at the top of your jump.
and try pressing the action button to drop down mid-flight.
The reason you see sheep hopping around everywhere, and whenever you kill a sheep, a little butterfly comes out and Sparks eats it. That's how you get health back. So every level will have little critters hopping around where if you kill them, they release a butterfly, and that's how you regain your health. Also, this motherfucker right here. This is definitely the most iconic / infamous enemy in all of Spyro. These are the egg thieves. They are super blue, and they are super fast. They're exactly what they sound like. They're egg thieves. They are thieves who have stolen an egg, and it's your job to chase them down and get the egg back. What makes them so popular and infamous is that, well, as you can see, they're really fast, so their main gimmick is you have to chase them down with your charge attack, and also their laugh. Their laugh is purposefully made as annoying as possible. It's kind of the most infamous thing about them, their laugh. In the original, it's changed a bit from the original game. In the original, in this game, it's definitely a bit higher pitched. They're both equally as annoying and equally as memorable, so it's not a bad change. But in the original, it was like na 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 na. In this game, it's na 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 na. That's a terrible impression, but
either way, I've never been so motivated to make someone shut the fuck up.
Yep.
After you've freed all the dragons, pass through this fancy vortex thingamajigger. It'll take you back to the artisan home. But first, let me tell you a story.
No thanks. See ya!
Also, Spyro's kind of an asshole.
Kinda is.
Not an asshole, but kind of like a... He's like a bit of a brat, I guess that's a good way to describe his personality. He gets nicer in the other two games.
I mean, he's supposed to be, what, a young dragon?
Yeah.
So basically a kid?
Yeah. Oh, hell no. I'm getting that other gem. There we go.
Don't want to miss a single beat.
Yeah, speaking of which, you saw I got a key. That key, it unlocks the chest. The chest is filled with gems. Simple stuff. But, you see the key, whenever you get it, it shows up in the bottom corner, and it stays there. When I first saw that in press release videos of this is me doing a victory lap, I guess. I don't know what I'm doing here. But, this is old footage. But when you get a key, it goes to the bottom corner and it stays there. I thought that was going to get distracting, but it turns out, as you will see multiple times in this Let's Play, I'm gonna need that key to stay there because I forget it's there so many times and, like, end up leaving the level before I open the chest, so I have to go back into the level later and get the key and open the chest. Because I'm stupid. Also, watch this glitch. You can actually see Spyro appear in front of the dragon before he walks over.
Cool flash. Do that again.
The Artisan's boss is through a portal behind me. You can challenge him now, if you feel you are ready.
I don't know why he's holding a watermelon, but I don't know. It's gives him something to stand out.
And suddenly I want watermelon.
Anyway, that was Stone Hill, our first level. Our next level is this one, Dark Hollow.
Sounds dark. It looks dark.
It's dark, but I don't know if I'd call it hollow. You decide after the level's over. It's pretty, though. Like, you'll see me later. Like, I'll actually stop and look around just to show the viewer how pretty this goddamn level is, because, wow. Anyway, here's another dragon.
Oh, it's you. I wasn't sure if you'd escape those annoying little creatures. Of course they wouldn't bother me, but here's a hint. Their metal armor is fireproof, but a charge attack will take care of them.
And that's basically the most complicated, the quote-unquote combat gets in this game. The enemies that hold up shields or have metal armor, you have to charge them because flame breath doesn't work. And the really big enemies, you have to flame them because charging doesn't work. So, flame big enemies, charge enemies with armor. That's as complicated as it gets. So very simple stuff. Except this guy, he's big and has armor, so you gotta flame him in the back. And also, I'm just showing off this hallway because in the original game, this was just a blank hallway. And they took the lib and, like, Toys for Bob, the developers of this game, they actually, like, made it into a library and actually added all this extra detail, and it looks so pretty. Like, look at this room. This is the part I was talking about earlier where I stop and actually admire it. This was just a big-ass empty room with blank walls in the original, and look at how pretty it is.
It looks like, well, it kind of looks like you could just actually go in here and read the books. You know, like an actual library.
Yeah.
With a moat.
The concept art in this game is really pretty, too. There's a level later where it's just like, holy shit, you guys went above and beyond.
Spyro, wanna know a secret? Use the action button when you want to zoom in and look around.
Oh, your secret's safe with me.
The action button, that's a triangle. They say action button instead of triangle because this game wasn't just released for the PlayStation, but also Xbox. So they couldn't just say the triangle button like they did in PS1.
That makes sense. Might be a little bit confusing if you, like, are honestly not paying attention to your own control scheme.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, that dragon that we released just a second ago, that was in, if you watch the very first trailer for this game, that was actually the model they used for the first dragon we found. The one that said, find the dragons, and then you can face Nasty. Like, that was originally his model, but they changed it by the time the actual game came out.
Huh.
Everyone looked at... Because, like, here's the thing. Nestor, the first dragon, everyone kind of assumed from his calm nature, the way he talks to Spyro, and the fact that he is the first dragon that you find, everyone just kind of assumed that he was, like, the head dragon, like the leader dragon. It's never stated that, so people are kind of just, like, making that up when they say that, but I can see why they wouldn't want a design that dorky to be given to the first dragon you find.
Big enemies like this Nork with the club cannot be charged, but a quick flame, that should defeat them.
That's one of my favorite dragons. Just thought I'd point that out. I love the way he says, but a quick flame. And he, like, blows on his candle.
Yeah, when I read the name Darius, that's totally not what I was expecting. And that's the fault of the fact that I play League of Legends and there's a character in that game named Darius.
Is he a Shakespearean actor?
No.
Oh.
He's just a big dude that swings a huge fuck-off axe. I do love his mustache, though.
Speaking of Nestor, I don't know, this has nothing to do with Reignited and the changes from the PS1 version, but I just thought it was funny to bring up. Like, on PS1, he talks in that same manner you heard in this game, where he's like, thank you for releasing me, Spyro. Like this very calm, collected guy. But in the beta of the PS1 game, he sounds like he's on, like, cocaine or something, where he's like, thank you for releasing me, Spyro!
Thank you, thank you.
Free the dragons, then find the balloonist!
Are you okay, man?
Yeah, I'm fine. What about it?
Well, if you're fine, can you at least share some of that? Just share some of that fine.
Anyway, this is Town Square. Not much to say about it. A lot of gliding in this section.
Not very much of a square.
Commentary's over. Bye, everybody. This is also a great dragon, but that's because of his exit animation.
Welcome to Town Square, Spyro. Begin exploring by gliding to that area with the bulls. Use the right stick to get a good look.
Okay, that exit animation was pretty hilarious.
Some dragons in this game have the best animations. He's not even my favorite. He'll be showing up in the next part. But a lot of them are really funny.
Thanks, Spyro. I had the worst itch on the tip of my wing. Did you know that you get your longest glides by pressing the jump button at the very top of your jump?
Why he had a cake that says thanks Spyro in preparation for being frozen, I don't know.
Well, you've always got to be prepared, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Preparation is...
Like, I don't know why, but I get the feeling Spyro's gonna save me one day, so I better have a cake just in case.
My 12 years of training has led me to this moment.
The cake's bad now, but... like, it is far past, like, edible.
But it was worth it, and that's all that matters to me.
This egg thief's a bitch. You gotta get him on like... It's hard to catch him the normal way, so you gotta... BAM!
Yeah, they get a little tricky there.
Yeah.
And by tricky, I mean chase the motherfucker down and burn him. That's a trick, right?
So I haven't mentioned the skill points in this game yet. So, in the original Spyro the Dragon Trilogy, skill points were only a thing in 2 and 3, but Toys for Bob decided to add new skill points into this game. The reason I'm bringing it up now is because one of the skill points is to charge all the bulls, so they get stuck on their horns. If you flame a bull, it just immediately dies, but if you charge a bull, it gets stuck on his horns.
Spyro, do you see a man dressed in blue running around here? He's a thief, and he's stolen a dragon egg. You've got to track him down and get that egg! Run! Run! I'm getting a little winded.
If you charge all the horns, you get a skill point, but because I completely forgot that, you'll be seeing me fix that mistake in the beginning of the next part. Because again, this is a 100% LP. I want to actually show myself getting everything. So if I miss a skill point, guess what? I'm going back into that level just to get it. You can still hear me, right?
Yeah, I can still hear. I was just trying to think of a terrible joke about grabbing the bull by the horn, but just came and passed.
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro. You can always check your progress by accessing the guidebook through the pause menu.
That's new dialogue added just for the Reignited Trilogy. In the original game, all he said was, "Thank you for releasing me," and then he left, but they added in new dialogue for him to say now. So, that's neat. There's a lot of things that aren't explained by the dragons that I don't know why they didn't add in, because "thank you for releasing me" is kind of a joke within the Spyro fandom, because I think, definitely not half, but a lot of the dragons, that's all they say before they disappear. So, that's kind of been a joke. I say joke in quotes, it's really just, it's a phrase that is repeated constantly, so the fandom made it a joke. That's how it goes in fandoms. Anyway, this is the boss battle, and I want you to imagine 4 fingers the size of mountains, and they shake the earth as they bend down into quotes as I say the word boss battle. You'll see what this actual boss is. Oh, jeez, these dogs are assholes, though.
Dog just body slammed you.
Yeah. You'll actually see what I mean when I say that, because this is a boss in name only, basically. These dogs can be tricky. You gotta flame them twice.
I guess get them when they aren't paying attention, which doesn't seem too difficult.
Yeah. These dogs were scary in the original game. Like watch what I do right here. Like, I'm trying to get as close as I can without waking the dog. Just, like, being super careful. So I was making fun of the boss battle a second ago, and it is a really easy fight, but there is one thing that they do to kind of make this boss battle actually stand out and be more of a challenge. And it's something I haven't actually heard a lot of reviewers and people who talk about this game bring up, is the fact that there are no butterflies in this level. In any of these boss levels in Spyro 1. There's no sheep, there's no frogs to kill, there's no butterflies at all. So any damage you take stays.
Actually, you've already been hit twice.
Yeah.
Nasty Nork has put one of his most devious henchmen in charge of the Artisan World.
Bring him on. I think I smell a barbecue.
Be careful, Spyro. Toasty has many tricks up his sleeve.
And Toasty is the name of the boss, and that's him. Big f***ing scarecrow with a scythe. Looks scary, right? Well... Okay, bad example. I say, well, actually, as soon as I get hit. But after I flame him, you'll see... He's a sheep in a costume. So in the original game, this is odd. So like this sheep right here, you'll notice that he doesn't look like the same sheep that I've been flaming to collect butterflies. That's because I guess they used this sheep as a like a Easter egg / reference to the original Spyro the Dragon commercials, because in the Spyro 1 commercials back in like 1998, they had this mascot sheep character who would like try to stop the game from being seen by people, because one of the main things you do in this game is kill sheep. They were like gag commercials. And the sheep in this game that they use for Toasty looks exactly like that sheep from those old commercials. So I guess that's the reference they were going for. But in the original games, Toasty was just an average sheep. Like, it looked the exact same as the sheep you've been killing to, like, collect dragonflies. So I feel like that joke is kind of lost, where this super intimidating boss battle is just a regular sheep that you've been flaming throughout the whole adventure. Anyway, these are the flight levels. Another infamous and famous thing about these games. Like Spyro, you can't have a Spyro game without these. So these are flights. The first game, they're only called flight levels in the first game. After this, the other two games refer to them as speedways. But they're basically the same thing. You fly around. It's free-roaming flying. This is the only part of the game where you're able to, like, fly like this. And basically what you're seeing is how all of these work. You fly around and you flame enemies, and you have to flame them all before the time runs out. And every time you flame something, you get a few more seconds added to your overall time. So all you gotta do is flame all the enemies, get all the things, fly through all the hoops. You gotta do it all before that timer in the corner hits 0. And these levels, they are definitely the most challenging levels in the whole game. Like, these are infamously hard levels. And they're made even harder in the Reignited Trilogy, I think a lot of people would argue, because not only does it feel like Spyro moves a lot slower, like flies a lot slower, his flame breath also seems to be, like, his range on his flame breath isn't as strong. And also, this has never been a problem for me, but it's also become a problem for a lot of other people. The controls are inverted. And you know how people love their inverted controls.
Oh, yeah. I absolutely adore it. I get so excited every time my controls are inverted.
It's never been a problem for me in these fight levels, but I can't say the same about a lot of people. So it is worth bringing up if you actually want to play this game. In the original PS1 game, the controls were just fine. If you hit left on the control stick, you went left. The turns are also not nearly as sharp. But anyway, that's pretty much it for the Artisan Homeworld. Each part of this LP is going to be its own homeworld, so we just finished the Artisan's Home. So now that we've collected all the dragons we need, which is 10, you need 10 dragons in order to progress, we're gonna go to this guy.
Wow, I see you've been busy rescuing dragons.
This is the balloonist,
Spyro.
Marco the balloonist. He's going to, when you've collected 10 dragons,
You may travel to
you
the
go to him,
Peacekeeper's
and he
world if you like.
takes you to the next world, which is, in this case, is going to be the Peacekeeper's world. And that is where we must stop this part of the LP and continue next time. Next time we will be exploring and completing the Peacekeeper's world.
Sounds peaceful. I'm sorry, I live with two roommates who love their puns, and I think it's starting to rub off on me.
No, it's not the pun, it's just like, it's the opposite of that. Like, you'll see when we get there. This Peacekeeper's world is anything but peaceful.
Take a shot for every time I try to avoid saying irony in the next part.